So in the last session, we are discussing the building blocks of Hadoop, okay, and also assumptions and goals of Hadoop. Okay, so now these are some of the goals of Hadoop. It is a highly fault tolerant. Sorry, the first one is hardware failure, streaming data access, large data sets, simple coherence model, moving computation is cheaper than moving data. Okay, so these are the and also the sixth one is called as portable to access heterogeneous hardware and software. Okay, so these are some of the goals and assumptions of in the last session, and now is the building blocks of Hadoop. Okay, so we have finally the building blocks of Hadoop, maybe some name node, data node, secondary name node, secondary name node, okay, job tracker and task tracker. Okay, these are the building blocks of Hadoop. Okay, so the in terms of HDFS, it is Hadoop distributed file system. In terms of HDFS, mainly we are having the how we can store in the data. So for storing such type of data, we may using the concepts of name node, data node, and also called secondary name node. Okay, so the MapReduce can use to process the data. So if you want to process the data, mainly we are using job tracker and task tracker. Okay, so these are the five the building blocks of Hadoop. That is, in the last session, we're discussing the HDFS architecture. So the HDFS architecture mainly contains client and also name node and also the data node. Okay, that is, we discussed in the last session. HDFS architecture, it contains the client, name node, and the data node. The data node mainly advantages the actual data we have to store at the data node in terms of the blocks. Okay, so to achieving the fault tolerance, we also maintain some replicated data at each and every data nodes. Okay, the replicated data may be having at same racks or different racks. Okay, so the name node is maintained as a metadata. It is maintains the states of data nodes. Okay, what are the locations of the files, or what are the locations of the blocks. Okay, just like that type of information can be maintained by the name node. That is we discussed in the last session. Okay, so in this session we are discussing what's meant by the MapReduce. Okay, so and what is the role of job tracker and the task tracker, the MapReduce. Okay, so in this we are discussing we are discussing the MapReduce. Okay, so it is one type of the MapReduce mainly used for to process the data. Okay, so now and how to write the logic by MapReduce means it is a programming model. It is a programming model that uses Java as a programming language to retrieve the data from files stored in HDFS. Okay, so I think already we know that HDFS can be used to store the huge amount of data, can be used to store a huge amount of data. Okay, so now once if you're storing the data on the HDFS, to process the data that is contained in HDFS, we are using one programming model that is called as MapReduce programming model. Okay, so actually internally this programming model using the Java as a programming language to retrieve the data or to process the data that is stored on HDFS. That is stored on HDFS. Clear. So now this MapReduce programming model again developed by taking the some of the MapReduce model that is already developed by the Google. Okay. So the Google also given both HDFS and also MapReduce. Both are given by the Google. Okay. But these actually they are just present in published in the paper only, but they are not given the actual implementation of either the HDFS or MapReduce. Okay, that's why they are not more popular. Okay, so the open source community can try to developing one file system and also one programming model to store and the process huge amount of data. Okay, that is the concept of Hadoop. Okay, so now that is discussing. Okay, the Google is also didn't release the implementation of GFS and MapReduce. Both are actually implemented by the Google, but they're not given the implementation part of GFS and MapReduce. So now the open source community built Hadoop and MapReduce based on those papers. Clear? So and again in the previous sessions we can also given the Hadoop initially given by which one? Yahoo. Okay. So later on initially the Hadoop was given by the Yahoo. Okay. So later on that is also that is also taken by some of the other companies called as Facebook. Okay. So LinkedIn. Okay. And also called as Netflix. These companies can also nowadays these companies can also used to Hadoop. Okay, so initially the Hadoop was given by the Yahoo. So later on the Facebook, LinkedIn, Netflix are also used to developing the Hadoop. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, so now coming back to this Hadoop cluster. Okay, just if you are understanding this architecture, okay, so now we know that okay, this is the typical components of Hadoop cluster. Okay, so if you are config the Hadoop, for example, if you are if you are set up the Hadoop cluster in our system, okay, so actually the Hadoop cluster may contains these are some of the components. Okay, so once if you can see the components, it contains the job tracker mainly. The client is interacting with some Hadoop. It job tracker, name node, secondary name node, data node, task tracker. Okay, so these are the main components of Hadoop cluster. If you take any Hadoop cluster, the Hadoop clusters may contains job tracker, name node, secondary name node, okay, task tracker and data node. Okay, so already we are discussing what is the role of name node and data node in HDFS architecture. HDFS architecture. Okay, so now the second concept is when we are process the data, when we have processed the data, the job tracker and the task tracker is comes into the picture. The job tracker and task tracker comes into the picture. Okay. So now we know that the MapReduce programming model can be used that can be stored on HDFS. Which data we are storing on HDFS to process the data? We are using the MapReduce programming model. MapReduce programming model. So now what the client can do is the client first write an application. What it can do is if you just I have to explain simple scenario. For example, what the client can do is the client write some application or some program. Okay, MapReduce program. Okay, so once the client write this application or MapReduce program, so initially, okay, that is taken by the job tracker. Taken by which one? Job tracker. Clear? So now the job tracker is just like act as a, okay. So in this we having again to process the data using job tracker
Sir,
and also task tracker. Come on.
sir, కొంతమందికి ఆస్క్ టు జాయిన్ అని వస్తుందంట సార్, రిక్వెస్ట్ యాక్సెప్ట్
Come
చేయమని
on.
చెప్పమంటున్నారు.
Hello?
సార్
All time అయిపోయింది చెప్పి all time అయిపోయింది కదమ్మా. Okay, so the job tracker and task tracker comes into the picture. Okay, so when we're in the MapReduce programming model, okay, so as like how the name node can be act as a master, okay, the job tracker can be act as a master node, the task tracker can be act as a slave node. So master is a job tracker is a master, task tracker is a act as a slave. Okay, so now how this job tracker and task tracker works is, okay, so when the client writes an application, or when the client write an application, or when the client write an application, so that application is initially send request to the which one? Job tracker. Send request to the job tracker. Okay. So now what the job tracker can do, it can act as a master. It can act as a master. So for which purpose the client write the application? To process the data that is having on the HDFS. So now to process the data that is having in a HDFS. So now the data we're having on HDFS, maybe the data is at different nodes. Is at the different nodes. Let's say we were already discussing the last session. I could take one example. Okay, for this example, taken as this is a if I take as 512 MB of data, the block size is assuming as 128 MB. That means the data is written to how many blocks? 4 blocks. These 4 blocks may be having the different nodes, or different nodes. That means if you want to process the 512 MB of data, if you want to process the 512 MB of data, that 512 MB of data is having how many blocks? 4 blocks. So those 4 blocks may be at the different data nodes. That means we have maybe at the 4 data nodes. Now to process each and every data, what the job tracker can do is the job tracker assigns. Okay, what the job tracker can do is the job tracker assigns tasks, to each task tracker. Each and every task tracker. What the job tracker can do is the job tracker assigns the task to each task tracker. For example, let's take as I have to take as 512 MB of data. 512 MB of data. 512 MB of data. It is have how many blocks? If assuming 120 MB is each and every block, it's like the 4 blocks. So it may be having it how many? This data is having it maybe 4 data nodes. Maybe at 4 data nodes. So that means what the job tracker can do is the job tracker assigns 4 tasks. Each and every task can assign to which one task tracker. That means we are having the how many data nodes? 4 data nodes. In this example, we have how many data nodes? 4 data nodes. We have the 4 data nodes. That means at each and every data node, we are having the one task tracker. We are having the one task tracker. That means we have how many task trackers? 4 task trackers. Okay. We are having the 4 task trackers. So now the job tracker assigns the task to each and every task tracker. Okay. For example, first 120 MB of data can be taken to process by the one task tracker. The second 120 MB of data can be processed by the another task tracker. The next 120 MB of data can be processed by another task tracker. That means how many blocks or how many data nodes, in how many data nodes the actual data is having. Just remember, in how many data nodes, the actual data is contains that many number of task trackers. Is maintained to the entire data. To each and every task tracker, the task is assigned by the job tracker. To each and every task tracker, the task is assigned by which one? Job tracker. That's why the job tracker can act as a master. The task trackers can be act as a slave nodes. We have only single job tracker. The number of task trackers is depends upon the number of data nodes that contains the actual data node. I think is it clear? Now, next, what the job tracker can do is not only assign the tasks, not only assign the task to each and every task tracker, the job tracker can also monitors the status of each and every task tracker. So either the task is successfully processed by the task tracker or not. Just listen. The job tracker not only assign the task to the task tracker, but also the job tracker can monitor what is the state of each and every task tracker. If the task tracker is is the task tracker is successfully complete the process or not. Is it or the task track? For example, if the data node is failure. At that time, what to do? If the data node is failure, at the data node, for example, if the some task tracker is executed, the data node is failure. So at that time, if the task tracker is executed, if the task tracker is executed the data on the data node, so at that time, if the data node is failure, so obviously the task is also failure. That means immediately that state is sent back to which one? Job tracker. That means that state can be identified the job tracker. Now immediately what the job tracker can do is, okay, so if the task tracker task is failed, okay, maybe the save on which data the task tracker is working. Okay, so the save data will also maintained as a replicas. Okay, the next replica can be identified by the job tracker, then assigned to the next replica, to the assign the another and assign the task to the another replica of the data. Okay, that means the state of the task tracker is also monitored by the job tracker. Okay, if at any point of time if data node is failure, so at that time if task tracker is executed, obviously the task failure is also failure. So at that time what the job tracker can do is the job tracker can identify the replica of the data and then assign the task to that replica of that data. Okay, that is another role of the job tracker. It can continuously monitor the task trackers. Okay, not only assigns, but also monitor the not only assign the task, it's a continuously monitor the state of the task trackers. So now what the task tracker can do is process the data. It can generate some results. Again, that results may be intermediate results or the final results. Again, those intermediate results are stored into the HDFS. Again, those intermediate results are again processed by the task tracker, and again that can again stored into the HDFS. That is, we are discussing the Hadoop cluster. Okay, what the task tracker can do is the task tracker can process the data. So when we have processed the data, it can generate some results. That results may be initially that is called intermediate results. Those intermediate results again we have to store onto the HDFS. Again on the intermediate results again we have to assign some of the task tracker. Maybe it can give some final result. Again the final result may be showed to the user, or the final result may be again stored onto the HDFS. That is the actual process that can be done by the job tracker and task tracker. Okay, the task tracker simply process the data. Okay, so the job tracker can assign and monitor the task trackers. That is the role of the job tracker and task tracker. Okay, so I think hope everyone understand the job tracker and the task tracker. Clear? So now next last till now we were discussing. I think we are discussing what we meant by the name node. Okay, hope everyone understanding. And the second is called as data node. We're discussing. I'm discussing about the job tracker. Okay. Next one called the task tracker. Okay. So in these four, I have to say that main node is which type of node? Master node. It can maintain the state of all the data nodes. Okay, and it is a slave node. The job track is a master node. The task track is a slave node. And one more node is called as secondary name node. So here is the secondary name node. So everyone treat as the secondary name node is a backup of the name node. That's not just like a backup of the name node. For example, if at any point of time we can say what we can feel is if the name node crashes, what happens? Name node crashes, what it happens? So everyone feels that if name node happens, the secondary name node takes the responsibility of the name node. That is not a correct. That is a wrong. Clear? So if the name node crashes, the secondary name node cannot take the responsibility of the name node. So what the secondary name node can do is, what the secondary name node can do, what the role of the secondary name node is, the secondary name node periodically periodically takes the checkpoints of name node and that can be saved as some images. Okay, as some images. Okay, so now what the advantage of the checkpoints, what advantage of periodically maintain the state of the name node? For example, at any point of time the name node crashes, after some time again the name node is rebooted. Now what the secondary name node can do is immediately the name node can interact with the secondary name node. The name node can interact with the secondary name node. So now from the secondary name node, it can take the state of the name node. At which point the name node is failure, that state can be taken by the name node. Then the name node starts its working. That is actually the role of the secondary name node. That is the role of the name node, secondary name node, but it's not that does not act as a the backup for the does not act as a name node when the name node is failure. It just maintain the state of the name node only. It just maintains state of the name node only. I think each and everyone studying the concepts of checkpoints in DBMS. What about the checkpoints? For example, for every 5 seconds, okay, so we have to save the data. You have to save the, for example, for every 5 seconds, you have to save the data. For example, at particular point of time, if the system is crashes, okay. But already again, when the system is again started, we no need to again start this process from the starting. We need to start the same process from the starting. So okay, so already by the concept of checkpoints, we can periodically save the state of the particular process. Okay, so when once the system is again started, uh, at which at which place the system is crashes, from which place the system is crashes, from that place only again the process is started. Then advantage of checkpoint. The same concept is also taken by the secondary name node. It can periodically takes the state of the name node, or it can periodically take the checkpoints, the state of the name node. If at any point of time the name node is crashes, at any point of time the name node is crashes, clear? So now after the crashes, after some time again the name node is started. What the name node can do is now the name node again interact with the secondary name node, get what is the state of, get the previous state of the name node. So from that state again the name node starts its working. Okay, that is the actual the role of the secondary name node. Okay, but it's not act as a name node when the name node is failure. That is the most important key point you have to remember. Okay, everyone treat that the name node is secondary name node is act when the name node is failure, but that's not a correct answer. That is a wrong answer. Okay, it is just maintains, okay, the state of the name node periodically. Okay, periodically. So just like how the data node state is sent back to the name node. Similar way, the second name node take the state of the name node periodically. Okay, that is main role of the second name node. Okay, so these are the 5 building blocks we are using in Hadoop cluster. In Hadoop cluster. Okay, I hope everyone is understanding these 5 components of Hadoop cluster. Okay, now we have to discuss the typical components of Hadoop cluster, how it can be organized. How it can be organized. Okay, so till now we're discussing. Discussing the MapReduce. Okay, know that name node. Okay, Worker stores all the location information of files in HDFS. Clear? Second name node. The important is not a fail over node of the for the name node. He is responsible for performing periodic housekeeping functions for the name node. It only creates checkpoints of the file system present in the name node. Just creates checkpoints only. Okay. Data node. Storing data into the HDFS. Okay. Blocks within the node. It maintains the blocks within the node. Job tracker. Okay. Responsible. Taking request which one? Client. Assign task trackers. Okay, with the task to be performed. Assign the task trackers to each and every task to be performed. That is the job tracker. The task tracker daemon that accept tasks from the job tracker, and process the data and sending the heartbeat message to the job tracker. That means what is the state of the job tracker. Okay, so either it is a alive or alive, it is a crash or not. That type of heartbeats I can send back to which one? Job tracker. Which one? Job tracker. Okay, so that is components of Hadoop. Okay, so now coming back to here, one more thing is here you're discussing one more thing is, so when we are discussing here in the here, what a job tracker can do is the job tracker assigns the tasks to the task tracker that can be performed by the task tracker. Okay, so here we are discussing one of the advantage of Hadoop is the application moves to the which one? Data. But in the earlier traditional systems, the data is moved to the application. So here, the task tracker, okay, that means the application is moved to which one? Data. That means the task tracker is executed. The task tracker is executed at the different data nodes. But it's not the data node is executed at the task tracker. The task tracker is perform the tasks of the data nodes only. That means the application is moved to the data. But in the earlier traditional systems or in the earlier traditional frameworks, the data is moved to the application. But whereas in Hadoop, okay, so the application is moves to the data. Clear? So that is task tracker, job tracker, name node, data node, and secondary name node. Now, let us discuss the components of Hadoop cluster. Let's see. Clear? Now, this is a client. All of you listen carefully. Okay, this is a client. Job tracker, name node, secondary name node. Okay, so once we have bidirectional to the job tracker and name node, and also bidirectional secondary name node to the name node, because the name node status periodically taken by the secondary name node. The second name node given the status to which one? The name node. Okay, when the name node is crashes, again rebooted. The job tracker can also periodically sends the information about the different tasks and task trackers to the name node. And the name node can also notify to the job tracker for some type of information. Okay. So let's assume all these nodes all these components you have to maintain at a one node, let us assume one node. So secondary name node, job tracker have to maintain at the one node. Again, data node 1, data node 2. At each and every data node, we have the task tracker. Node 1, task tracker, node 2, task tracker, node 3, task tracker, node 4, task tracker, node 5, task tracker. Okay. The number of task trackers is depend upon the number of data nodes. Clear? So now, just listen. Here M means map, R means reduce. M means map, R means reduce. Okay. In the next unit or in the next session, how the map and reduce works. The given data, let us discuss with some example. Let us discussing with some example. But here we have maintained some mapper and reducer, map and reduce. Okay. So now these colors indicates A, B, C or files. We are having the three files. How many files? Three files. Clear? So now, what is the default replication factor of HDFS? The replication factor is 3. That means each and every file having three copies. The file A having a data node 1 and data node 2 and also data node 4. Again, file B at 1, at 3, at 4. File C at 2, 3 and 4. There is replicate copies of each and every file. Okay, so now let us assume, okay, we are having how many total nodes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nodes with this is the one more node. Total we have 6 nodes. Let us assume we have no nodes, 6 nodes. That means we have 6 systems. Let us assume we have the 6 systems. In those 6 systems can be cut as one network. On that network, one system we have to make it as in one system we are maintaining the secondary name node, job tracker, and 5 remaining nodes. In the 5 remaining nodes, we have maintained as some data nodes. Clear? So now, how it can be works? Okay. Now, when the client sends an application, now that is taken by the job tracker. So for which purpose the client sends application? To process the data. The request sent back which one? Job tracker. So actually the data, okay, actually the data is divided into a number of the blocks, and where the data is located, what are the locations of the data, all those information we're having at which node? Name node. Having the name node. Now the job tracker can take, so which data the client wants to process, the data complete information in how many data nodes the data is contains, location of the data nodes. Okay, so that type of information we are having at the name node. Now the job tracker takes the locations of that data node, assign the task tracker to each and every data node or to each and every block of the data. Okay, here I have how many files? 3 files. Maybe the data may contain some. I want to process in the 3 files. Okay, so now to those 3 files, okay, the job tracker can assign task to those task trackers. Okay, so now the data is the data locations we're having it mainly at the name node, taking those locations. The job tracker assigns some tasks to that data location to the data with the help of the task trackers. So once the job tracker assigns, okay, a task to the data by the task tracker, now what the task tracker can do is the task tracker process on that data. So that initially the task tracker process on the data with the concept called as the mapper. Okay, so internally it is using the mapping function. We are having the map function and reduce function. Okay, so initially the task tracker using the map function to process the data. Initially the task tracker uses the map function to process the data. So with the help of the map function, the task tracker processes the data. It can generate some intermediate results. can generate some intermediate results. Okay, so those intermediate results again, those intermediate results can be again stored in HDFS. From HDFS, again we have to take that intermediate results again to that intermediate data, again perform, again processed by the task tracker. But to that intermediate result, here we are using which one? Reduce function. Reduce function. Okay. So here also process the data. The actual data can be processed by the task tracker. The actual data is processed by the task tracker with the help of which one? Map function. It can generate some intermediate results. To that intermediate results are also processed by the task tracker with the help of which one? Reduce function. Then which one? Reduce functions. Okay. We may get in the doubt why we're using the map function, reduce function. That can be, we have to know in the next session. Okay. What is the role of map? What is the role of reduce? What it can do? Okay. But just you have just know how the task tracker is executed. Okay. So what is the role of the task tracker? So taking the intermediate results again can be processed by the task tracker with the help of reduce function. Then finally it can give the final result given by the final result. Okay. For example, final result. Okay. That is the actual role of each and every component of Hadoop cluster. Hadoop cluster. Okay. So these are the steps. Just listen. Client sends a request taken by the job tracker. The job tracker can take the data locations. Okay, by the name node. Okay. So then the job tracker assigns the task to each and every data locations with the help of the task tracker. Now to the initial data, the task tracker works based on map function. It can generate some intermediate results. On those intermediate results, again, the task tracker works with the help of reduce function. Then it can give the final result. That is actual procedure how the MapReduce programming is works. How the MapReduce programming is works. Okay. So it can, the Hadoop can support parallel programming. Consider parallel programming. So how we can see parallel programming? Reducing as 3 files. On those 3 files, 3 task trackers can execute it at a time. 3 task trackers can execute it at a time. Again, these 3 task trackers some results. Okay, so these results are combined. And the final result again maybe is processed by the task tracker. It can give the final result. Gives the final result. That is map function, shuffle, and combine, shuffle, sort, combine, and then reduce. Shuffle, sort, combine, and then reduce. Okay. So these the tasks are executed parallelly on the initial data. It can give some intermediate results. Again, on the intermediate results, the task tracker is executed. Then it can give the final result. Okay. That is actual the procedure how the MapReduce programming is works. Okay, the MapReduce program is works on the given data. Okay, so these are some of the steps. Okay, client sends request job tracker information from the name node. Okay, then next task tracker takes care of the starting of the map tasks. The progress of the operation is read back to the job tracker by the task tracker. Once completion of map task, interpreter is created. Okay, results from map tasks are passed to the reducer task. Where the reducer task works on all data received from the map tasks, write the final output to the HDFS. If the task is complete, the intermediate data generated by the task tracker is deleted. Okay, so once the intermediate result is processed by the task tracker, again the intermediate result is deleted by the task tracker. Okay, so now this is the actual procedure how the typical MapReduce programming is works on the given data with the help of the Hadoop open source framework. Hope everyone is understand. Okay, so today I have to stop here. I think everyone understand what meant by name node, data node, job tracker, task tracker, secondary name node, how this can be works. Okay, so from the next session I have to discussing how to installing the Hadoop. Okay, so if you have any doubts, okay, so kindly ask. Okay, otherwise I have to stop the session and the session. No doubts.